I recently walked a process of having to speak in front of like 150 people. And it was fascinating process to walk because I've always feared public speaking. But through the years of walking the Desteni I Process, self-forgiveness, self-change, and self-honesty, and just walking that point of self-change and living my highest potential, living the best I can be in each moment, I found this point a cool exercise to see who I was within it, how I've changed, what I've changed, if I've changed. And it started, I usually leave things like for the week before. That's kind of how I do things. I prep and plan like a week before I have the event. This speech I had to write, I did it the night before, which I didn't think it was a big deal to leave it to the last minute, because I knew I would be able to write a speech. I knew I'd be able to get my thoughts and, points on paper for the speech. Though when it came time to write the speech and actually physically have to give the speech, it was a different story, because what came up was all the usual fears that have come up in the past. So it's just like fear energy coming up in my solar plexus, and then, if you participate in the thoughts of, oh my God, I'm speaking in front of hundreds of people or 150 people, what if I mess up? All those kind of thoughts, you can get yourself into a huge fear point, become nervous, become suppressed, not want to do it, give up, give in to the fear. So those all came up, though what was different this time was because I've walked through this point a lot throughout my process, I was able to identify these thoughts, release them, not allow them to direct me. And in like the strongest moments where this energy felt like it could take over, I just breathed and continued on, just continued moving myself in the point, even though it felt like I was going to just give up. Because that's what the energy feels like. It feels, suppressed, not suppressing, but depressing. Though, as it's been said, in those moments of it feeling the strongest, the energy feeling the strongest and you feeling extremely weak, is actually your greatest moment of transcendence and power. If you walk through that moment of where you feel the weakest, you will become stronger. And that's what happened. I walked through those moments. I didn't allow them to take over. I kept pushing myself, just kept walking the physical steps of writing out the speech, and then going to people, and then speaking it in front of people before I gave it to the crowd. So practicing it. And then once I got up there, I was more prepared. I was not as anxious, because I had transcended, I had moved through the most strongest of those emotions, which was right before the morning of was the strongest, and where I could see myself giving in and giving up in those moments. So my point is that when we walk through our fears, we move through it and we continue to push ourselves to live regardless of what is coming up within our minds. Live words like courage, live words like persistence, consistency, physical movement, creativity, some words I lived, passion, self-trust. So over time, practicing these words within myself as a living statement of who I am, my living presence, becoming these words of self-trust, not allowing energy and the fear to take over, it had supported me in those tough moments, in the moments where I felt the weakest, though I knew that I walked through those moments and I will be stronger, and that is what happened. So when I got in front of the crowd and did this speech, I was clear. I was stable. I did not go into my mind. I just read my speech. I was able to do the tonalities specifically in the speech where, the different jokes and things had to be said a specific way, so I was able to walk those points. And after the fact, people came up to me and said it was a really, really good speech, and I did really well. People that I wouldn't have thought would come up to me, and I didn't expect that kind of response to my speech. And it just went to show me that, walking this process definitely supports self-change and self-empowerment. And as you move yourself through fear, you do, in fact, become self-empowered and more strengthened in your living. Because you're actually creating yourself in those moments. You're actually accumulating change. You're accumulating those practice moments into something that becomes substantial. So this process does work. It's a small example of how I myself was surprised at my own change, and how my reality assisted me to see that I in fact have changed. So it comes in like random moments that you don't expect, but the change will come through as you stay consistent within your application of self-honesty, self-forgiveness, and living change in what is best for all, and words that will support yourself to live that highest potential. So keep at it, keep pushing, keep moving, keep breathing, and if support is needed, check out the sites, the material, and just buddy support. You can also contact me. I can support as well. All right. Thanks for listening. Till next time.